Hello. Hi. So, I was doing this thing. Um, I was just like kind of in the middle of studying, and then I went on Facebook for some reason, got distracted, and someone from a witchcraft group I'm in, because I'm in those, um, was all like asking about what deity is trying to work with her right now. And normally I just like leave it, whatever. But since there were like hardly any comments on there, I decided to tune in and do what I do, connect to my higher self, and I used her name and her picture to try and tune in with her energy. And then I asked my higher self to connect me in with the deity that's trying to work with her, whatever. And then I got this image of this deity, this woman who has these black feathers, and when I tried to concentrate more on her, I realized that she had a beak. I don't think she had one before, but anyway. And then she was like holding out this red orb or red light or whatever it is. And then I thought, okay, that's cool. It would be cool if I had a name to give her rather than a vague description. And then, so I looked up these deities that are bird related, and ow, I found out that there's one called Morrigan, right? And this is important because the way that she is described is very similar to one of our altars in our system. So we have this altar called Raven. I don't know if we've mentioned her on here before. It's been like so long since we did stuff. But Raven has, she calls herself goddess of the underworld. When I try and picture where she hangs out and stuff, she's in this huge cavern, where there's this little portal or opening in the rocks below, and she oversees all of the stuff. She sits up on her throne, and it's like this dark place where the dead come and go, and they just basically go through that portal and stuff. She told me a couple of years ago that she can communicate with the dead, so funnily enough, that's been coming up in my life lately, and I said that I wanted to try and do readings where I communicate with the dead, so that is interesting. But so this Raven, one of the, at first I just thought, she's like an altar that's kind of gothic or whatever, but then I realized she actually has wings, and then I started realizing that she has these abilities, and she believes that she is on definitely a much higher level than most of the other altars. She is, as she calls herself, a goddess. And yeah, this Morrigan deity that I just found out about, her name means Great Queen, and that reminded me of Raven sitting on her throne and feeling superior herself in her great cavern. And then says she can shapeshift, mostly associated with crows and ravens, so obviously there's a connection there. And apparently she is considered a goddess of the battlefields. She calls warriors to fight, and then she claims them for the afterlife. and apparently feasts on their remains, which is boss. And she cloaks herself in black feathers. So there are definitely parallels with this deity and the altar that we have in our system. And I guess it's not exactly what the information that I read said, and I will be doing much more research on it now that I know it exists. But we wrote her magic is transition and change. So obviously it is talking about like the transition from life to the afterlife and the part she plays in that. But so she represents an ease of transition in times of great change, and that is exactly what I need to be tuning into, and what I probably have always needed to tune into. So when I first noticed Raven in the system was like years ago, probably like 2011, 2012, I don't know. I'm assuming it was around then. It was definitely before 2014. I probably have some information in my folder that will give me a better idea of when I started writing information about her down. But it definitely isn't a recent thing. So yeah. And it's like there haven't been many times where I've actually tried to lean in and learn more about each specific altar. So the information that I have on her is actually a lot clearer than it has been with other altars. And I'm just wondering if Morrigan, this deity, had actually been trying to work with me and communicate with my system for a time back then, where a whole lot of stuff was actually changing and I was really struggling with the transition, actually. And I know that a lot of altars can be formed by being exposed to things or people or characters that they really need the qualities of. Just a cool way that our brain helps cope with stuff. But at the same time, I'm wondering, like, because I do have the ability to channel things, was I initially channeling her? Did I subconsciously connect with her, and then my subconscious created the altar in her image? Or, oh look, I pierced my ear. Anyway, or was I just channeling her and mistook her for an altar? And if that's the case, then has she been taking refuge within me and my inner world? Or is my inner world somehow connected to her cavern where she resides on that throne? So am I connecting directly with her, or have I created a version of her subconsciously? And I'd never heard of her before now. So I don't know what's going on. But it was very exciting to find out that this exists. Raven exists. not only in my world and in my inner world, but far beyond that, where anyone can learn about her and her past and her power and what she can do for our system and, well, for anyone that connects with her, for that matter. And it makes me feel like I need to call upon that altar more, but I also need to research more about this deity. Indeed. I do that a lot, don't I? I don't know. Anywho, so that was very exciting. Indeed. This kind of thing has happened before, where we named one of our altars, and then I was like, oh yeah, like she's a Japanese altar, and her name is Kyoto, and I thought I just made that word up, and then I looked it up, and I was like, oh, that's that's a city in Japan. Okay, cool. It's actually a word. I did not know that. I thought I just made that up. It came from my brain, but anyway. And then there was a time where Sheimeikizu was a thing, and Sheimeikizu, I might just be like some fae that was trying to connect with me, that I was channeling, or an altar, because I never really considered Sheimeikizu as an altar of mine and someone who can front, but definitely someone who I can learn from. So I was thinking maybe a past or just other life version of myself. And perhaps these deities and beings that are trying to connect in with me and that I am channeling, perhaps they are other versions of myself from different times, different vibrations, different points in reality. And when I looked up the parts of the word Sheimeikizu, it was years ago that I actually looked it up and stuff. I don't actually remember exactly what it all means, it stands for. But it all kind of just fit in exactly with the way that it looked in my head and the role that it plays within the rainforest and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really, really cool when you tune in, find something, whether it's tuned into something higher or tune into yourself and your inner world, and altars, if that's a thing for you. And there's actually evidence of it outside. Like, that is badass. Badass. Anyway, goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. And if you think that I am entertaining or amusing or interesting or anything, then, you should like and subscribe, because that would be cool for me. Might be for you too, I don't know. You might get something out of my other videos. But, just like, yeah, I'm just gonna say you will. So, yeah, like and subscribe. DID life / spiritual life / I'm weird. Thank you. Bye.